Hi, I'm Chris Gasper, and this is Globe 10.0, joined today by Chad Finn. A little bit of a strange sight on Monday night as the Patriots played their second preseason game, taking on the Philadelphia Eagles. Deion Branch out there in the fourth quarter, returning punts, or at least attempting to, and blocking his butt off for Stephen Ridley. This maybe led some people to believe that Deion Branch's roster spot could be in jeopardy. Chad, what do you think?
Yeah, I think that's the case. You tend to see when those veteran guys are out there late into a game, it's usually a guy who is on the bubble, who has something to show Belichick. I think Deion Branch belongs on this team.
I agree.
He does one thing very well. He runs those deep in cuts. But there's value there in him, and as we saw, he's still a pretty good blocker for a little guy.
Oh man, I remember looking out there, 11 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, 6-yard run by Stephen Ridley, and there is Deion Branch just blocking with everything he has. How could you not want a guy like that on your team? He was still productive last year. You look at the numbers: 51 receptions, more than 700 yards, 5 touchdowns. I think there's some redundancy there between him and Jabbar Gaffney, but I think there's room for both guys on this team because they have great relationships with Tom Brady, and you really can't put a price on that. Maybe there are faster guys and more athletic guys at this stage than Deion in his 11th year, but I think he's a reliable guy, and to me, he's a guy that should be on this team. Stranger things have happened, but I think he actually helped himself Monday night. He played very well. As you mentioned, the deep in cut, he had the 20-yard reception there, and they put him back on the punts. He never got to take him back, but just the effort he showcased in that game. There's a lot of 11-year vets who would say, why am I out here?
Yeah.
Like, I'm just going to whatever. I'm going to mail this in. And no, he was playing this like it was like a playoff game. And I think you need guys like that in your locker room and on your team.
Yeah, and he does. You mentioned Gaffney. He and Branch both do probably the most important thing to Tom Brady in terms of his expectations from his receivers. They're in the right place all the time. I like Dante Stallworth a lot. I think he brings probably a different element than those two guys. Yeah. But you also remember in 2007, his effectiveness dipped, and it seemed like Brady lost a little bit of confidence and a little bit more confidence. By the end of the year, he was really a non-factor. I think you're better off with guys like Gaffney and Branch, even if they're not the athletic specimen that Stallworth still is, because they fit better.
Yeah, and also Aaron Hernandez gives you a little bit of flexibility there. He's obviously listed as a tight end, but he can do some wide receiver things. And as I often say, he's a guy who beats corners down the field. Just ask Sean Smith of the Miami Dolphins, who we beat last year, 30 yards down the field. So that gives him maybe a little bit more of a downfield threat than you would think if it's just Deion and Gaffney. If it were up to me, I'd have Deion on the team. We'll see what Bill Belichick thinks.